So I'm going to talk about the changes in PTE academic from November 16, 2021. The test is shorter. It used to be 3 hours, around 3 hours long. Now it is only 2-hour long test. And here are the differences in the speaking and writing sections. Let's talk about the speaking one first. There is no change in the read aloud part because they have the same number of questions as before. Read aloud used to be 6 to 7 before. Now it's the same 6 to 7. So there is no change in the first question of speaking. What about repeat sentence? There is also no change. So these will remain the same. The number of questions remain the same. However, the changes take place in the next questions. Describe image used to be 6 to 7 questions. Now it has come down to 3 to 4 questions only. So almost half. Retell lecture, it used to be 3 to 4 questions, one after another. Now it has come down to 1 to 2 questions. So there has been a great reduction in the number of the questions. And then answer short question, it used to be 10 to 12, it's now 5 to 6. I think it's a wise decision about answer short question because 10, 12 questions were not really necessary to test speaking. So I repeat, read aloud, and repeat sentence remain the same. So that actually gives you a little disadvantage for speaking. Why? Because read aloud is the most challenging task as far as the fluency and speaking is concerned, because you have to read and you have to maintain proper fluency and pronunciation as well. So those struggling with pronunciation might have a hard time here. Nothing to do, but still we could say that shorter version of the test is a better version than the previous one. And what about the writing part? Is there any change in the writing part? The writing part is also shown here. Summarized written text used to be 2 or 3, and now it's 1 or 2. Unfortunately, the number of essays is not reduced. It is 1 or 2. So in the newer version, it is again 1 or 2. So only the number of summarized spoken written text has been reduced. But if you consider this way, that it used to be 2 or 3, now it's 1 or 2. Now, if you think that in the earlier test you got 2 summaries, so you might even get maximum 2 summaries here as well. So technically, there is no change in the writing part if you get 2 summarized written text and 1 or 2 essays. Okay, but I think they will mostly give you 1 summarized written text and 1 essay. So that will be quite short. But that might be even 2 essays. I think it should have been changed to only 1 essay. It's really hectic. I got 2 essays in my PTE academic test, and it was really a burden for me, because once I finished the first essay, at the moment I saw the second essay, I felt really bad because it gives a lot of pressure in the brain. Anyways, nothing to do. Let me know if you have any questions. So the total question range for the 2 sections, speaking and writing, it used to be 39 to 48. Now it is 28 to 36. Any question on this? And please take a note that although they say speaking plus writing in PTE, they mean they are the same part. It's actually not the case, because you have to complete speaking first, then move to writing. But of course, there is no formal announcement when you move to the writing part. Once you're done with the last question of speaking and click next, you immediately get the writing question without any formal announcement. You have to understand by looking at the format of the questions, and you already know that you will get these questions in the sequence. Let's move to the next part. Changes in reading time. This is where the magic happens. It's great. I like the change. Why? Because fill in the blanks remain the same. Please note, number of fill in the blanks, reading and writing remain the same. It's a good thing because you get partial score in writing as well, and it's relatively easier than MCQs and real paragraphs. MCQ, multiple choice, multiple answer used to be 2 or 3. Now it's 1 or 2. So it's a good thing because it's the toughest question in PTE academic. From my point of view, it is the toughest. Definitely, it is the toughest, and people waste time here, and they don't get much scores as well. But still, they waste a lot of time. And we always encourage people targeting up to 65, 70, not to attempt these questions and click just one out of yes. And this time it is a good news because you have less number of questions. Reorder paragraphs remain the same. I think that is also a good thing because you get partial score from reorder paragraph. Fill in the blanks reading remains the same. Another good news because you get a lot of score from here, and this one is the easiest question of reading. And multiple choice single answer, its number is reduced. Good news because these are quite problematic tasks for the candidates because they are short, but they are quite tricky and kill a lot of time and energy. So what happens to the question range? It used to be 15 to 20 questions. Now it is 13 to 18 questions. And the approximate time is 29 to 30 minutes now. It used to be 31 to 42 minutes before. Any questions? Okay. Now listening, and I have great news to share here as far as the changes are shown. There are 8 types of questions, and I always tell you that not all of them are equally important because 4 of them are really important, and they are summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, highlight incorrect word, and write from dictation. These are the 4 most important questions. Let me put some stars next to them so you understand. They're really, really important as you see the stars. Now, the good news is that summary spoken text has been reduced to 2 to 3 to 1 to 4, 1 to 2, although they give a lot of scores from here and you get partial score. But it's good because you don't have to write so much, because if it's 3, it is a very long section, like 10 for each question. 10 10 10 30 minutes for 3 questions is a very long journey. So if it's come down to 1 or 2, and if it's genuinely 1 in the test, it's a relief that you don't have to write so many things, those who are struggling with writing. But they give a lot of score, so you have to be very careful about this question. And the good news is that the multiple choice multiple answers like reading is going to be in lesser numbers. From 2 to 3, it's now 1 or 2. Fill in the blanks remains the same. It is a good news because you get partial score for writing from here, so it should give you a lot of scores. Reducing the number of fill in the blanks would have been a challenge for the candidates because that would give a harder time to get scores. Highlight correct summary. Good news. It's a tricky question. Never gave so much points, so many points for listening or reading, but it is really tricky and difficult. So it has come down to 1 or 2. It's a good news, but you get some partial score for reading from this question. Multiple choice single answer from 2 to 3, 1 to 2. Good news. As I said, it's again one of those trickiest and less important questions. Select missing word, another tricky and less important question. So it has also come down to 1 or 2. So the difficult questions are going to come in less numbers. Good news. And you see, highlight correct summary remains the same in number. Write from dictation remains the same. Good news, great news, great news, because you get a lot of scores from here. Highlight incorrect words. Remember, you just click the incorrect word and get 1 point. Write from dictation, listen to the sentence and write the sentence. You get 1 point for each word. So these questions give you a lot of scores. So it's a good thing because the most important questions almost remain in the same number, other than the summary spoken text. It is also good because you don't have to write so many summaries at the same time in the same test. Okay, so these are the basic changes, and you at least get 1 hour less. So it also reduces stress and energy and brain pressure. So the old version of 3-hour test is now 2-hour long test with reduced number of questions. Specifically, the difficult questions are going to come in less number. Okay, kono question ache on this new format? The format is same basically. All the question types are same, only the duration has gone down, or it is less. Okay, as everybody is silent, I hope there is no question. Karo kono question nai, right? Yes or no, buddies?
Yes, bhai.
No way.
Okay,
No
so
way.
we are going to have a look at the speaking part now. As you understand now which questions are less in number.